Armin, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hello, I hope you stick around. Today I am doing my August wrap-up. I know this is probably several days late as per my usual fashion, but that's fine, it's getting up. I read 6 books this month, most of which was just me finishing the Heroes of Olympus series, so it was mostly a Percy Jackson month, but I'm not complaining. So the first book that I read and finished this month was The Mark of Athena, which is thicker than I realized, but oh my gosh, this book was so good. Apparently, like, a lot of people really love this book specifically out of the Heroes of Olympus, and I can see why, because honestly, it was such a good time. I mean, as much of a good time as you can have reading about like giant spiders and stuff, but you get a lot of character development in this, I think, and I didn't really annotate it or take notes on it, but I do know that I enjoyed it, and I really enjoyed getting a deeper look at Annabeth's kind of story and her struggles and her kind of development, because often she's kind of like sort of a side character, but in this one, like, if each book revolved around one character, I think this book would be like Annabeth's book. So the next book that I read this month was The House of Hades, which is book 4 in the Heroes of Olympus series, and it took me like a week to read this book just because of external circumstances, and I feel like I was in Tartarus for like a week because it took me so long to read this book, but I was reading a bit of it every day, so I was experiencing like a little bit of Tartarus every single day, and I feel like it was such an ordeal, like in the best way. I feel like if I'd read this really fast, I wouldn't have been so deep, or like wouldn't have connected so much with the struggles that the characters face in this book, but like because I read it over like a stretched out period of time, I was like, oh my gosh, they really been down there for so long. But anyways, it was a really good book. I really enjoyed it. You really, like, the stakes get a lot higher in this book. Like, in Percy Jackson, like, yeah, the stakes are high, but then in this series, like, obviously they have to up the stakes, and then in this book you really kind of see, like, it's like, how many more villains can we introduce, and how much bigger can they get? And I'm just like, oh my gosh, because every villain they encounter is just, like, an even bigger threat, and I'm like, will they make it out? Will they make it out? Like, I know what happens, but I still was like... And finally, I did also read The Blood of Olympus, which is the conclusion to the Heroes of Olympus series, and honestly, it was such a good conclusion. Like, I was very satisfied with how things ended up. You get a lot more character development. Like, I didn't expect so much character development to happen in the final book, but like it did, and I'm not disappointed at all. It was actually such a good book. I tried to take the sticker off of the cover because who decided putting stickers on books was a good idea? Like, okay, I am the person who put tattoos on my books as a child, but still, like, who put stickers on books? I cannot stand. I need to get, like, some glue remover or something and get this off because it's gonna bother me. But, I'm literally trying to peel it off right now as I'm talking. Let me stop. Anyways, it's a really good book. Highly recommend the series if you haven't read it because it is just so good. The next book that I read this month was Darius the Great is Not Okay. I did a full review on this book, so you can check it out. I absolutely love this book. It was sent to me by Penguin Teen, and I am so glad because I probably would not have picked this book up just on my own, and it has become one of my favorite books of the year, so that's saying a lot. I annotated the heck out of this book. I loved it so much. If you haven't read it, or if you don't have plans to read it, I highly suggest you change your mind because it is just so good. I love it so much. And the next book that I read this month is Darius the Great Deserves Better, which is the sequel to Darius the Great is Not Okay, which was also sent to me by Penguin Teen, and it actually just came out like recently. I think August 24th it was released, so you should really check this out because this is like less cultural identity focused and more kind of LGBT identity focused, and it's such like a fun book to read, and it talks a lot about like consent and coming of age and growing up and like all kinds of, you know, general fluff stuff. But also some heavier themes. There's obviously still talk about like depression and cultural stuff and racism and microaggressions and all kinds of stuff, but it's a very well written book. I very much enjoyed reading this as well, so I highly recommend this too. So the final book that I read this month was Our Chemical Hearts by Crystal Sutherland. This is not a cover page. It is, I guess it's supposed to be the cover page, but this Kindle is so old it doesn't show like covers. It just shows like words, and they're all like weirdly formatted, if you can kind of see it. But anyways, this is probably the first book I've ever read on my Kindle. I didn't know I had this for several years. I found it in my garage like last month, and I finally got it to work. All of that is in the vlog that if I've posted, I will link it up there. But I'm really glad that I got this to work because honestly, I did not like ebooks. I could not read ebooks. Like, I absolutely refused to read anything but physical books, and ever since I got this working, like, I've been kind of using it, and it's so convenient. Like, yes, physical books are still superior, but this is just so convenient. Like, I can annotate on this without marking up a book. I can, like, hold it with one hand and just, like, use the previous and next pages. Like, yes, this Kindle is like 11 years old, but it still works fine, and I love it so much. So now I have a device to read all my NetGalley books on. I'm probably going to be requesting way too many NetGalley books before I've even completed my physical TBR, but that's fine. We're not going to talk about that. I wrote a review on Goodreads. I'll probably link it down below because, like, it's too much to unpack, but I didn't think I would like this book for, like, the first maybe 100 pages. I was like, I don't like this. I don't like where this is going. Like, it's very stereotypical nerdy white boy falls in love with broken manic pixie dream girl. Like, that's, like, the vibe I was getting. And yes, it is kind of that vibe, but, like, it has some interesting twists, and I think it was an interesting take on this very overdone trope. So I gave it 4 stars, surprisingly. I actually very much enjoyed this book, even though I thought I wasn't going to. So it also just got turned into a movie, so that's cool, I guess. You should probably check it out if you like those kind of books and you want something, like, a little fresher on it, I guess. So yeah, I really enjoyed that book. But anyways, those are all the books that I read for the month of August. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know down below if you've read any of these books, if you enjoyed them, if you didn't enjoy them. And as always, don't forget to subscribe because I will be posting new content very soon. Thank you guys for watching. Bye-bye.